What have you accidentally conditioned your pet to do? My wife and I have pretty set sleep schedules during the week. If we stay up later on the weekend or with our dog gets very huffy, offended, and will sigh passive-aggressively at us until we go upstairs to bed. Oh. And if one of his bowls is empty, he licks it, also passive-aggressively, and then makes direct eye contact. Oh God, yes, that passive-aggressive sigh. Our dog used to sleep in front of the bedroom door, in the corridor between bedroom and toilet, and when you had to go at night, oi. Fuck off, followed on his part by exaggerated getting up. This deeply annoyed Cyan. I swear. An eye roll. The budgie had a broken leg in a little splint. He would climb to the roof of his cage with just his beak and good leg. Then let go of his beak and hang by one leg, then just stare at me. He knew I would stick my hand in and he could just fall off into my hand. He only did this when I was around because I was the only one who would stick my hand in. I can imagine him doing it with someone else, keeping eye contact, only for them to watch this bird hanging and then dropping himself to the floor. My rats do this all the time, lol. My tortoise stands on my foot when he is hungry. Is there a particular reason for that? Or is he mildly threatening to turn your toes into food? Forbidden cherries. After my roommate got a cat, my dog answers to kitty kitty kitty, cause he wants love and or treats. Ha ha ha, he a little confused, but he got the right spirit. Dogs be like, I hear potential for love and treats in your voice. I'm a comin'. Amazing. Beautiful babies. When I was little, I would constantly carry around one of my cats. Feist. Since my hands were full with her, I would use one of her outstretched paws to turn on lights whenever we entered a room. Now the little bastard switches them on and off for fun. My cat was upset with me because I wouldn't get up to give him wet food, so he turned the fan off and looked me dead in the eye. I conditioned my cats to use the scratching post with treats and pets and lots of good boy for the last 7 years. Whenever I have to tell my one cat to stop chewing on something or anything like that, he goes to that post and scratches furiously, looking at me like, but I'm a good boy. My cat just licks his post like a weirdo and scratches the couch. My cat licks a particular duvet cover I have. When that one goes in the wash, he literally sits and cries. My mum, who doesn't even live with us, felt so bad for him she bought me another one exactly the same. So he gets to enjoy it on the bed more often. My cat loves to be bounced in the duvet cover or the sheet when I change the bed. And also to pay under the fresh sheet as I'm trying to put it onto the mattress. Every time he hears the covers being pulled off, he comes running. Which isn't great if I'm doing it on my own, because it takes 2 people to properly bounce him. Changing the sheets on the bed means playtime. My cat likes to sit on the bed as I throw on the sheets, likes that rainbow parachute elementary game. She tries to attack my hand if I straighten the edges while she's there too. Every night without fail. It's a challenge because one goes under for the parachute. The other goes on top to attack the folds of the blanket. I picked my kitten up a few times to kill some spiders up high for me. So now whenever I pick her up, she looks up at the ceiling and looks for spiders. My cat will not kill bugs. She stares at them, follows them around, and will paw at them with claws, but won't hurt it. I would love to be able to get her to kill a damn water bug, but she thinks they're just toys, lol. Same thing with my cat. Recently a stink bug found its way into my room. I swatted it but only managed to make it drop to the floor. I left it for my cat to toy with, but he was curious and slapped it around a few times and didn't finish it off. Don't let your cat attack stink bugs. You'll regret it. One time a stink bug made it into my house, and my cat started attacking it. A few minutes later she starts foaming at the mouth and shaking her head wildly, trying to get the taste out of her mouth, and drank a few gallons of water while sneezing and drooling. After 20 terrifying, hilarious minutes, she finally calmed down, and then she went to her litter box. I had to leave the house for 30 minutes because of the terrible smell that stinkbug left behind. Nothing even comes close to that stench. And for some reason, my cat's afraid of stinkbugs now. Get wet food at 4 a.m. every day. I wake up early during the week and feed him wet food right away. Of course he doesn't care that it's the weekend. His internal alarm clock is down to minute with precision. And because he's a cat. And an asshole. If we don't get up and get his food, he howls loudly through the house, opens shutters, walks on our faces, nudges our noses with his nose. He's so relentless it's not even funny. But we love him. My one dog sleeps under a blanket. I know he pretty much only gets a decent sleep that way. So every time he's laying down I cover him with one. So whenever he wants to have a nap, or it's time to go to sleep at night, he jumps up onto the couch, or bed, or really wherever I am, and just sits there staring at me, until I grab a blanket and drape it over top of him, to which he then lays down and falls asleep. The funny part is that he'll often sit there in that position waiting for minutes on end. Sometimes he's not even facing me when he does it, which is the funniest. He'll get up on the bed, put his ass in my face, sit, and just wait. He knows he doesn't even feign loving me to get what he wants. He just knows it's going to happen, so why put up a facade? He's become very entitled about it. Whenever I bring my dogs in from a walk or from the backyard, I give them a treat, which I keep in the kitchen. So whenever we come in, they run to the kitchen and get in the sitting position. Sit is always the first command in a string of commands that I use when giving them treats. If I forget, they'll sit there for however long it takes for me to circle back around and give them a treat. Sometimes this takes 5 to 10 minutes if I'm distracted, but they'll just sit there waiting. They have trained me well. My sister and brother-in-law's dog would only ever go to sleep if he was under his specific blanket and with a pillow on his bed. He sometimes would bring his blanket to us and let us know he was ready for bed. He passed away a few months ago though. My dog knew he would always get some ice to chew when I went to the fridge, so anytime he heard the ice machine on the fridge start he would come running in. Once he became deaf he would feel the vibrations in the floor from it and knew it was ice time. My dogs know the sound of ice too. We don't even use ice. It had been 100% from visitors. Stop eating your face. He has floppy jowls that sometimes get stuck in his teeth. I used to just casually say, "Dude, stop eating your face," when it happened. On the occasions that he just happened to lick his teeth and spring it loose, I would give him a pat on the head and call him a good boy. Never any intentional training, but now that he's an old man he's 100% responsive when I tell him. He'll clear his teeth out and present himself for his congratulatory head pats. Not sure how it happened, but my dog will run to nearest window, stand on his hind legs and look outside frantically if I ask him, "Who's here?" This behavior also occurs when there is a knocking sound, whether it's on the TV or at the door IRL. If no one is there he will whine. If it is someone he knows he will get excited. If it's a stranger he will growl. Best guard dog buddy. I have these outdoor cameras around my home, and the sync to my phone. When there's an alert, it used to make the generic iPhone text tone. I turned the sound off not too long after I got them. But my dog knows that sound means there's probably a delivery guy in the driveway and it drives him nuts. My phone is always on silent now. But even that same tone on the TV sends him up the wall and he won't calm down until I open the door and prove there's no one coming to murder us. My niece loves to FaceTime my mom to talk to her dog. When the dog was a puppy, my mom used to pull her onto her lap when she would get FaceTimed. Now the dog is 80 pounds and will jump in your lap if your phone or tablet starts making the default FaceTime ring. I had a wiener dog in the days before the internet, late 80s, early 90s. The local news came on every night at 10 o'clock. Our dog heard the news jingle 5 times a week at 10 and knew to come wrangle us all into bed. She made sure every single one of us were tucked in. My parents had another wiener dog later on, and there was a time where my kids and I had to go stay with my folks. My kids and I had a morning routine of getting ready for school work. The dog picked up on this really quickly and started to beat my morning alarm to get the kids up. I often woke up to her barking at the kids to wake up. When I entered their room I would see this tiny dog trying to drag the kids out of bed, and it always makes me think of how the first dog we had was anal about putting us to bed. Dachshunds are very motherly dogs. I've come to learn. One of my cats has a favorite toy that he brings me sometimes. And when he does I praise him for his catch. Now either I've trained him into thinking he has to bring it to me to receive affection, or he's trained me into recognizing when it's okay to give him affection. Or a little bit of both, and it's just a little nice communication tool. OMG, he just associates it with feeling love towards you. He's like, "This is what I do when I want cuddles." My kitten will aggressively headbutt my face every night before bed, for top-of-head kisses before she goes to sleep. My old cat learned by watching my so and I to give forehead kisses and hold hands as a sign of affection. So now he will give you his forehead and give him a kiss, and then you have to let him kiss your forehead. And at night he will hold your hand and sleep next to you through the night. My cat also knows that forehead kisses equals affection. When my husband pops into my home office to chat, he always kisses me on the forehead before he leaves. If our ginger cat is there, he'll look up at my husband and squeak pathetically until he gets a kiss. 2. My dogs know the sound of the drawer the cheese is kept in the fridge. They could be asleep in a completely different area, but if you open the cheese drawer they come running and sit like good boys for their cheese. They are herding dogs and will also herd the cat away if she won't stop meowing at me when I'm busy or if she tries to scratch anything. I had to check to see if you were my housemate. All 4 of the dogs we have are very different, but the one thing they all have in common is being summoned by the cheese drawer. Somewhere along the way, my dog learned, "Get your toy," means to pick up his nearest toy. I didn't purposely train him to do it, but it's good for when he's about to leave one of them outside and I want him to bring it in. If there's no toy around and I say this, he'll grab the nearest soft thing. Usually some piece of clothing laying around. One time he tried to pick up the cat. My brother taught his golden retriever that when he said, "Clean up," she gathered all her toys into the toy bucket. She'd get the ones outside the house as well. She also knew his name, my name, and his GFS name, so if you said, "Go get name," she'd find whoever you said. We'd play hide and seek with her like this. Damn. Meanwhile, if you call my dog, refrigerator, in the right tone of voice, she thinks it's her name. With my dog you can be in another room talking about him in regular tones and he just appears out of nowhere like I'm always listening. My sister's dog too. He's a German Shepherd, so he's already very nosy. But he hears a word even similar to his name and he's like, "Here I am." My dog, meanwhile, knows all of the same things but chooses not to come. I know he can hear me. BC, he'll be on his bed wagging his tail and shoving his face further into his paws in the bed. I'm like, "Excuse me, sir." Which is another one he knows because when I say it and he's standing, he will back up. My cat will open the tray to my Xbox when he thinks I've been playing too long. Even if I just started, my cat will turn off my Xbox. I had to move it so he couldn't get to the button. It was infuriating to be in the middle of a game and be just shy of the end of something and suddenly, boop da beep. My cat's like sitting on the couch with me. Sometimes they'll cuddle on my lap while I play games. So, they'll occasionally turn my Xbox on and hope it causes me to sit on the couch. Does it work? Depends. It always works on my days off. My partner and I spend a portion of our evenings on the couch. So they just hop on and snuggle without having to touch the Xbox. I take baths with my cat by letting her float in a plastic box. I keep the box in my closet. I only started doing this about a month ago. But now when I turn the bathwater on, she runs to the closet and jumps in her box. If he hears me on the phone with my sister, it's automatically time for a walk. We usually chat when I take him out and he is now very aware of that. Also, outside clothes and putting on makeup means I'm going out probably without him. If I take my backpack I won't be back until after work. He's happy that hasn't happened in a while.